Dev Patel really came out swinging with his directorial debut, Monkey Man. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it hits. This is definitely not your generic action movie, and let's get this out of the way. If anybody tries to tell you that this is just John Wick but with Indian people, never trust that person on any advice they give to you about movies ever again. Because I've heard some dumbass people say that, and it could not be further from the truth. And I'm not knocking John Wick, those movies are fucking sick, but this is just very different. But the action is almost just about on par with John Wick, which is very impressive. And the only other similarity is that when boiled down to its most basic, Monkey Man is a story about revenge. We follow Dev Patel's character, called Bobby, as he's just getting by in a low-class living, working in an underground fight club. He wears the gorilla mask and basically just throws fights to make money. But for all intents and purposes, he's a pretty average man. And then one day, he discovers an opportunity that'll let him infiltrate the seedy, corrupt, criminal underworld that runs everything, and it'll lead him right to the people that basically blew up his entire life. He's held this grudge since he was a child, and he finally gets to try to do something about it, and what ensues afterwards is just greatness. But also throughout the whole movie, Bobby's continuously going through this very formative spiritual journey. He calls back to things that he went through when he was a child. We really see him go through a spiritual transformation, and not exactly in the way that you might think. We learn kind of the double meaning behind the movie's title and the reason that he wears the gorilla mask. It's really cool, and I don't want to give too much away. As I said before, the action in this is amazing, so props to Dev Patel for putting in the work, and huge props to the stunt crew on this movie. There's some great creativity in the way that some of this action is choreographed and the way that it's shot, and it all works so well. I loved it. I'd say my only real gripe with this movie is it has some pacing issues, and it's tough because whenever you have a movie that's supposed to be so action-packed, which it is, but you also want to have a heavy spiritual element, it's kind of a hard balance to strike. But with that being said, they still did a great job. I had a really good time watching this. It's got some graphic violence in it. It's rated R. Towards the end, it gets a little bit more graphic, but it's really not that bad in the scheme of things when it comes to rated R action movies these days. But if you're into action movies, I 100% would recommend this. Props to Dev Patel. He's 1 for 1 on really good movies so far. So I'm very curious to see where he goes from here with directing. Also, shout out to Jordan Peele for producing this movie because I guess apparently, or at least I heard that this was supposed to go directly to streaming, and then Jordan Peele's production company picked it up and demanded a theatrical release, so thank goodness for that. And yes, it's a little funny that Jordan Peele's production company is called Monkey Paw Productions, and the movie's called Monkey Man. Whatever.